All right. Well, welcome again to another week of getting together with our Rocky Mountain Spa and Wellness Association crew. This week we have Theragun by Therabody here, and I'm super excited for this one because this is a true foundations class that's going to teach us a bit about percussive therapy. So whether you know a lot about it or not a lot about it, maybe you're a little new to it. I was new to it a few months ago, and I'll tell you what, I'm a solid believer in this form of therapy, particularly for self-care and to also give my husband a massage because my hands don't work for real massage. So you don't want to hear about me anymore. I'm going to hand it over to Clint Wall. He is the Director of Key Accounts for Spa for Theragun. And without further ado, take it away, my friend.
Hi, thanks, Holly. I appreciate it. So we're glad to be here with the Colorado Spa Association. Today, I'm just simply going to pass it over because I'm not going to do much talking until maybe the very end. But Lissa Bankston is going to go over sort of the Theragun Foundation course and basically give everybody a really good understanding and a background of percussive therapy. And she's the director of human performance at Therabody. So Lissa, please take it away.
Thanks, Clint. Hi to everybody. This is just such a great opportunity to share with you a little bit more about who we are and our mission. I think it goes without saying that there's this emerging class of these devices, and we often get asked, you know, what is the difference? And as we got those questions coming in, we really felt compelled to share our 10 years in the making of what kind of brought us to be a company. And that's really what our foundations course is about. It's just sharing a little bit more about how we got started, what our footprint is in the industry. And we truly think that as you start to understand those qualities from us, you'll start to really understand where we're going and what we're creating for our partners. And one of the biggest things that we really are seeing in the industry is not that we have an awesome device, but that we actually have solutions for each individual partner that we're working with, whether it's how to implement our device within a setting, how to sell our device to somebody else, how to make sure that you feel safe and effective when using our device, pretty much everything around that. And so today's just a great opportunity for us to share a little bit more about what we found with our now 12 years of research, and just kind of hopefully becoming a really strong center of information that really helps you guys understand whether or not percussive therapy is right for you, and if it is, how to then implement it within your businesses, spas, whatever it may be. So I'm going to share my screen. I have a little presentation today. I will try to be short and succinct with it so we have some time for you guys to ask some questions as well. Is there a way that I can share my screen? It looks like the host has to give me permission. Sorry. Good. Ah, perfect. I'm in business. So this is just, again, a little background to who we are. One of the biggest things I talk to when I share our foundations course is a lot of people know us as this device. They know us as this, whether they're calling it a handheld massage device or they're calling it a post-workout recovery device. Whatever that may be, we just truly feel like we're so much more than that. We have a very distinct DNA, and it was something we inherited from our founder. So that's really where I'm going to start, is kind of where we came from, so that you can understand where we're going. So I'm going to talk about our origins, and we kind of have this phrase that we typically say, and it's how we're born out of necessity. And it really starts with our founder, Dr. Jason Wersland. His story as a chiropractor actually starts in 2007. Dr. Jason was in a really bad motorcycle accident that left him with a pretty severe injury. And when he went to get his MRI to see what this injury was actually doing to his body and what solutions that could be given to him at that time, he was really disappointed in what he was offered. So when he went to the MRI, they found a 9 millimeter bulging disc in his C6, C7 vertebrae. That disc laid on a nerve and then it radiated in pain. And it was so painful for him. It really started to deteriorate his life. So when he asked the doctors, you know, what are the solutions for this pain and how do I kind of start the progression of healing? They gave him two options. They said, well, we can either fuse your neck together and the rest of your life, you're going to turn shoulders and chin, or we can prescribe some opiates. And I think what Jason really saw in that moment was two very dramatic ends of a healing spectrum, and neither one of them really sounded good for him. And as a chiropractor, he had really learned a lot about the body and different, more holistic ways to look at it, to move it, to treat it. And he really felt like there should be something in the middle, and he wasn't really ready to take either of those options. During his kind of discovery, where he was just trying to figure out how to get out of this pain, he first tried something that was called a vibrocussor, which is a vibrating element tool. And what he found from this vibration tool is, while it felt really good when he put it to his body, it didn't have long-lasting effects, meaning the minute he took it away from his body, the pain came right back to him. And so in his kind of fit of frustration and trying to figure out a cure, trying to get out of this pain, a little caveat to this story is, at the point in where he developed Theragun, he had fully atrophied. So he had no musculature on one side of his body and he wasn't able to work. So his life was really in a very desperate spot, with bills piling up, kids going to college, all the things that we understand life throws at us, especially at the most inopportune times, might I put. So Jason really felt like not only was vibration on the right track, but he was really thinking in his head, man, I got to find something that goes deeper, that lasts longer. And I believe he became a mad scientist at the point where he found Theragun, because he hadn't slept in somewhere around 40 days. He had lost the ability to use his arm and he wasn't sleeping. And I feel like you have to be in that mind frame for something so painful for the touch to think, well, what if I punch something on it? Maybe that would work. But his intuition was right. So what he did one night is he went into his garage and he got a power tool. He got a hack saw, which is like a table saw. He took off the blade, put on a cat toy, and that was the very first Theragun. I really kind of love this part of our story because it's just so real to what he was trying to do. He was so desperate, he was willing to try anything. But what he found from this makeshift device is that when he put it in a specific spot on his body, when he pulled it away, he had periods of time, moments, like little pockets of time, maybe 10, 15 minutes, where his pain had subsided enough that he could do some additional work, like moving his body around, eventually applying different methods to it. And it was the coupling of Theragun with his fellow chiropractor and some other stuff that he was doing that he actually started to see some progression. And eventually he got to the point where he healed. And that really is the end of our story. It wasn't until a year later that an LA bus driver came into his office and presented with the exact same injury. And that's when Jason realized he has the exact same solutions that I had a year ago. I know exactly how much pain he's in, and I actually know something that can help him because it helped me. And so that's when Jason pulled back out his Theragun, showed this man how to use it in between the visits that he was assigned. And long story short, this man too got to the point where he was healed and on the road to recovery. When that happened, Jason realized he was onto something, that he truly had something that could help people. And from that point forward, he started using Theragun on any and everybody that came into his office. Through the years, he did a lot of different things. We have to realize that he started with something that was meant to cut through wood and metal, and our body just isn't accustomed to that kind of power. And so Jason was calling up companies, asking for the rights to calibrate the machine that he was using so that he could get the right, I like to call it the right dose, the right combination of elements to where he found the result, but the body didn't have rug burns or bruises or bumps or tissue discrepancy from something that's not meant to actually be treating on skin. It wasn't until 2014 that we got a huge break. Jason, I think up until this point, was known as this crazy chiropractor treating with a power tool. But one of his fellow chiropractors who he had test out his device invited him to a NFL training day. It was the first time Jason was able to see other people using his products for the first time without his guidance. So he packed up about 25 units, went out, unloaded them, everyone bought them. And it, again, was the first time he was seeing a healthy individual navigate this machinery without his help. And that was a huge and very important moment for us. And that really gave us the momentum to continue to fine tune this product, because Jason then realized that people maybe could use it without him. And the amount of people that we could actually help or affect at that point became so much bigger of a mission. We came to market in 2016, and I wanted to show you guys the evolution of our products, because I think this is a really cool way to look at who we are as a company and what we've been doing. And to say that we're a company based in science and research is just such an understatement, because, oh, you can see we started, if I can get back to it. We started in 2008. I think this is a hilarious rendition with this big plug and this massive machinery. And we kept evolving. Every year he tried something new, something different. I think it's important just to take a quick look at the 2010 model. It's a model that you'll see a lot on these quote unquote massage devices. And Jason was actually asked to make this from an NBA player. So he said, you know what, I'll do it. I'll give anything a shot if it's going to make this thing work. But immediately both the player and Jason didn't like it, because the most amount of force that you can use has to come from your wrist, your elbow, and your shoulder when you're using a product with that shape. And as a chiropractor, Jason really understood the importance of our body's ergonomics when we're working on others. And he said, I just can't have a product in good faith that causes an injury while it's healing some other point in the body. It just doesn't make sense to me. So we went back to this triangular device, and you'll notice that on the market, we're really the only company that has this kind of shape to it, because we understood what ergonomics meant to the user. And I think it's important to address the massage community in this point, understanding what residual vibration does to someone's wrist, elbow, shoulder joint, and understanding really what the hands of a massage therapist go throughout the year, and knowing that the lifespan is significantly less when your hands are really used the way that they're used in the massage therapy world. And so Jason really wanted a device that was an extension of the hand that really helped create this space to where he wasn't using his own touch as much, but he was still getting a massive result. And that way, when he put his hands on a body, he had the ability for them to be fresh, for them to be used in a different way. And so a lot of what's really awesome or unique about our product line, specifically in the massage therapy space, is it's another practitioner creating a tool for other practitioners to help bridge the gap, to never really take away someone's ability to touch someone, but only to accentuate it. And that was something very important to Jason. I think it translates really well in this community. So that's our story. We now own the rights to the shape and the device. And it was in 2020 that we actually launched a device that we felt really spoke to the massage therapy world. And that was with our Elite product, having the sound component be very, very quiet and as well as powerful at the same time. And that really was us being able to step into an industry like the spa industry and really be able to speak on your level about how we can help people. Through this journey of discovery for Jason, it actually put us as the creators of percussive therapy. So this kind of a therapy didn't exist as it does today. Jason was the first person that put two components that are well known in our industry, vibration therapy and pressure therapy. He was the first one to put them together in a handheld device. And because he was that person, and because we have this research, we've been able to write the definition for this for the industry globally. And I think that's a really amazing thing to be able to do. And we did write the description void of our product because we wanted to be spearhead and leaders in the education department. So when we define percussive therapy, it really can be defined as rapid and repetitive application of pressure that's perpendicular to the body. So it has to be both rapid and repetitive. And I think that most people think everything that goes like this is rapid and repetitive. But the caveat for true percussive therapy is that in between each tap, it fully needs to come off the body a certain amount of distance to create the right force so that the tissue is experiencing both of these modalities at once. And so that's really what percussive therapy is. And for you to pick the best percussive therapy device, you want to look at 3 aspects. You want to look at amplitude, frequency, and torque. And so I'm going to tell you a little bit more about what those are, but we associated those directly with our product because we do have those present in our product. So the first kind of attribute that creates percussive therapy is amplitude. And amplitude simply is the distance the head travels in one revolution. If you'll look at our, get it together, Lissa. If you'll look at this kind of diagram, what you're going to see is that the amplitude on this device is somewhere around probably 12 millimeters, 10 to 12 millimeters, where ours is a full 16. And basically what that means is in between each strike, our attachment fully comes up into the product itself. And each stroke has the long length of a full half inch. We did try different millimeters. So we tried 15 and 17. And what we found is that there are different mechanoreceptors in your body, and 16 is the sweet spot to hit mechanoreceptors that deal with things like the Golgi tendon, things like the Ruffini endings, different things that speak to our brain and cause a reaction. I know that's a lot of maybe a little too deep into the science, so I'll simplify that in the next few slides. But when we talk to amplitude, we're just talking about muscle depth treatment, and ours is a half of an inch. The next attribute that creates percussive therapy is around frequency. And frequency refers to how quickly or how many times the attachment taps your skin in 1 minute. We like to talk to it in seconds because it just translates a little easier. But what we've done is we've put 2 different, we put what I like to call bookends in terms of frequency. We have a low end frequency that's 1750 RPMs, revolutions per minute. That translates to 29 taps in 1 second. 29 taps in 1 second, if you think about it for a second, it's pretty insane. And that's really speaking more in a therapeutic setting for injury, sensitivity, bruising, anything in that realm. The frequency that we tend to really speak most to is our 2400 RPMs, which is translated to about 40 taps per second. The reason why this is an important frequency to us is because it's directly related to Jason's result when it came to pain. I won't go too deep into it today, but we do talk about the gate control theory, which is really our brain's understanding of messages that come to it and how it maybe translates those messages or decides what order to answer them in. And we understood that pain traveled to the brain at a certain speed. And in order for us to trick the brain or get to the brain quicker than the pain messaging, we had to have a specific speed present. And that was 2400 RPMs or 40 taps per second. So just all of that boils down to frequency or speed. It doesn't necessarily play a role in intensity. It's really more so matched to the way that our brain responds to it and what we're trying to achieve with our clients. And a lot of that we speak to in our education courses. The final element that we talk to is torque, which really refers to our engine or our power. I call this our quality assurance plan. Our engine basically is saying that under different varying degrees of pressure, whether you're Dr. Jason and you're really applying a lot of additional force into a body, or you're myself and you're just casually using the device, but you maybe have a sore spot that you dig into. We wanted to ensure that the frequency and the amplitude were not distorted when pressure was applied. And so we needed a really strong engine for that. And so our engine is just a quality assurance so that we can predict the outcomes. That's why we've created protocols, why we have very specific timeframes, is because we know exactly what the body is responding to because our engine kind of can guarantee that. So frequency, amplitude, and torque are really the secret sauce that creates percussive therapy. So quickly, the science behind percussive therapy. You know, again, I said we really combine 2 very well-studied modality. The history of pressing on sore muscles is nothing new to us, obviously. And tissue manipulation has been around my goodness, maybe before, I would say in the years of BC years. So it's not a new modality, and there's tons of information on pressure and pressure therapy. And it was one caveat that Jason studied, understanding what we needed in terms of what we're trying to speak to in the body. The second one is vibration. And vibration is something, again, that's been around therapeutically and studied therapeutically since well before the 1800s. And those are the two modalities that we've put together. So what can you expect from percussive therapy? Well, we have two different, very wide ranges of effects. We can affect local, we can have local responses to the tissue, and we can have global responses. So when I'm talking about local responses, we're talking about where you put the Theragun is where you can see a response. And what we're finding is that there's increased blood flow to the targeted area, increased oxygenation of the muscle, a transport of metabolites to the area, increased temperature of the tissue, improved myofascial function, and activating different receptors in the muscle. But let's talk about how that translates into maybe the spa industry, specifically in massage therapy. What we're finding with local responses is that a lot of times what a massage therapist is doing to get a muscle to unguard, or what we like to say detone or lose its tension so that they can better manipulate the tissue or the muscle itself, takes a lot of time. And what we're finding is the use of Theragun just bridges that gap so that you can prep the tissue and create the window of opportunity you need to where you finally put your hands on a client. You have much more efficiency and effectiveness in that area. So again, things that most of our massage therapists already know, and what we know in terms of like blood flow, that's just really helping with the tissue staying nice and permeable, movable, and healthy. And that's always a good thing. And then the temperature is a huge benefit to using percussive therapy. And it's something that vibration doesn't create as much on its own. You really need this muscle depth treatment. So we can move from local responses to more global responses. These are the ones that get me really excited. A global response means you could be using this on someone's, I'm going to use my forearm just so you can see, but I could be using this on my forearm, and after a specific amount of time, I know that the entire body then will start to experience something globally. And some of these experiences have been a reduction in acute muscle pain, and this kind of speaks to Dr. Jason's discovery that he found windows or pockets of time where his pain had subsided just enough to try some additional modalities. Increased relaxation, increased excitability of the central nervous system, and a reduction in emotional tension. I want to pause really quick and just talk about increased relaxation and increased excitability, because if you take a second and think about that, those are different things. We're talking about Theragun getting you excited or giving you energy, and we're also talking about Theragun relaxing you. And absolutely, we actually can do both with the device. And what we found is the difference, or how you achieve those two things separately, is all in how quickly you move the device in the area and how much time you spend on that area. And that allows us to really help navigate different things for different people. An example I have is just in my everyday life, I've prescribed Theragun percussive therapy to my parents, both of which have had multiple surgeries in their lives, and both of which deal with a lot of aches and pains of the awesome life that they've lived. And what's really difficult for them is just getting up in the morning and like getting their blood to flow so that they feel good to start their day. There's a whole process. For my mom, it's like she just pops a couple Advil and waits for it to kick in. For my dad, he tries a bunch of different things, but usually lands on Advil as well. As someone who comes from a very holistic background, I don't love this for my aging parents. So what I do is tell them, hey, use Theragun in the morning, 30 seconds per area, nice and fast. You're increasing the blood flow. It's keeping their energy up. It's almost waking them up in a sense. And they relieve some of that tension that sometimes just feels restrictive, that makes them not want to start their day right off the bat. So it's like they're getting a few years back almost in the morning. And then at night, I have them use it for a totally different way and reason. I want them to use it nice and slow and methodically and stay in an area for about 2 minutes. And I'm seeing that they're down regulating that central nervous system, really getting into their rest digest and it's helping them get into their sleep habits better. And if they're getting to sleep better, plus I'm bringing blood flow to their muscles, they're just getting this awesome recovery throughout the night. And so again, the global responses can be different. It's really in how we utilize the device. And we talk a lot about that in our application through our app, through our courses, and then also on our online tutorials. I think we've kind of covered all these, but these are just kind of our mass benefits and effects when using percussive therapy that we've really found research is backing it up for our particular product. So let's talk quickly about the device. Theragun is a handheld percussive therapy device. It's designed for everything from the professional consumer to the average everyday consumer. We've really found that it works well for everybody, and the determining factor is just really what you're trying to achieve with this device. Again, we've created this triangular device because we wanted it to be ergonomic. The shape of it is ergonomic, but the fabric of it aids in the ergonomics. And that sounds a little bit strange, but if you have a device or if you get to hold a device, no matter which one it is, I have the Pro in my hand right now, the Elite and the Prime are the same, but we have different fabrics that line our device on the top. We also have seams and ridges that line the inside. All of that is to protect the hands that treat others or protect the hand that treats yourself. We wanted to make sure that we protected you from residual vibration, that we protected you from going numb or going to sleep when you're using it. We also put some things in there so that you could really feel what was happening underneath the attachment. And all of that deals with our triangular design. Let's talk really quickly about how we use the device. So the first, just kind of off the heels of our triangular design, is that it was created to also give you different multiple grips. As you can see in this picture, we've named the grips. You can kind of use it in any way, but again, it goes back to Jason saying, if I want you to treat your body in all different ways, I don't want you to have to feel like you have to twist your wrist out of into an uncomfortable position just to experience percussive therapy. I'm actually going to get out the Elite. So yes, you have different hand holds, but I think one that's really, really something that I like for myself, for my athletes, and for my practitioners, whether they're anything from athletic trainers all the way up to licensed massage therapists and chiropractors, is the fact that you can potentially let go of the device while treating. So if you do have hand issues, hand problems, or things that kind of a lot of treaters tend to fall victim to just based on their profession alone, Theragun is always something that's creating a solution around that, or at least helping alleviate some of that discomfort. So I can potentially be using this on an area and let go of it if I need to, just to give my hand a little bit of a break. We also have different attachments. We get a lot of questions around this. One thing that I would just like to throw out is that we spend a lot of time developing our attachments. Most devices have a hard plastic that hits you. We just knew that your mechanoreceptors, your free nerve endings, hard plastic is not a comfort for them to respond to. It's a forced response. And so what you're going to find in all of these attachments is that they're a closed cell PU foam, polyurethane foam. And what that means for you guys is that they don't absorb sweat, they don't absorb lotion, potion, oils, whatever it may be. They can simply be wiped clean, and that way you don't have to buy multiple attachments for multiple users. You can use one attachment on different people, clean it in between, and really be able to have an efficacious use all over. So that's the first thing about the attachments. The second one is we wanted to vary the density of the attachments to create an impact or an intensity in our product. So again, it goes back to preserving the hand that's treating. Instead of feeling like you have to dig this into spots or work or weave your way around things, we created different attachments to help you navigate the body better. You'll see that the second in line here is our large ball. It just has a bigger surface area. I say it's more bang for your buck. It covers more area at once. This is great when treating things like the glutes or the quads or the hamstrings. We moved from the large ball to the standard ball. It has about the same density, but what changes is the surface area. It gets a bit smaller, which means it starts to get more targeted, the impact does. And we found that the standard ball is something that's great when you're looking to excite the nervous system and move really fast on the body. The wedge, thumb, and cone, they do vary in their impact level. They grow with a bit more density. They get more intense because the surface area starts to get smaller. But these were really meant to navigate all the nooks and crannies of the body. So you think about the wedge, it was created to go under the shoulder blade. But we found really great use in using it around the IT band, in between the quad and the IT, or the hamstring and the IT, or turning and using the broad edge. So I can use it, pretend this is my IT band. I can kind of move it in between there, or I can turn it on its side and use the long edge and do some things like lymphatic drainage methods and use it almost like a sweep through the body. So it has a lot of multiple use case scenarios for it. The thumb is exactly what it sounds. Whenever you've wanted to put a thumb in something, an elbow in something, it's just a smaller, more dense attachment that allows you to get more focused and deep treatment. Finally, the cone, which I think is a little intimidating when you first see it. And I do have most of my clients, I can grab my cone really quick. Somewhere around here. Oh, I was actually using it on my body. 1 second. So the cone, I think it can be really intimidating, but I usually have clients, I'll turn on the device, hold the device in my hand, and then tell them to put their hand under it. And when they experience it with no added pressure, and they know that they can control whether it's on or off their body, they realize quite quickly how enjoyable it actually is and non-intimidating it is. But what is great about the cone is it's so targeted. It's the most potent dose of percussive therapy. And it's great for those really small areas that you want to get in between bones, or maybe you have a trigger point that you're trying to.
Have a good night.
Thank you. You too. So finally, this is just a quick.
Hello.
Hi.
Good.
Showing how we clean our attachments, how quickly cleaned they are. We did create a no-touch protocol to help with, making sure everybody knew how to use our products and create the most sanitary environment as well. The next few slides, a little bit more on how to use. I think one of the things that we wanted to kind of share with you is that it can be used different ways. You can use this as something that you're incorporating into a massage, or it can be something that is a client uses to bridge the gap between massages. I think right now is obviously a case we never understood was coming with COVID, but it's really created a space where we can help people that, maybe are seeing massage therapists regularly, having something that they can use on their own, that we can give them certain protocols to do on their own, so that they come back and they're not just totally demolished when therapists get their hands on them. So it's a great way to bridge the gap. With that, we have self-care. And in our, actually in one of our licensed massage therapy courses, we teach how to use percussive therapy in between clients. Whether or not you're actually using them on clients isn't really what we're talking about. We're really just talking about, we understand the wear and tear a treater goes through. The average lifespan, I think, of a massage therapist is between 5 and 7 years. And so if we can at least create something that helps them extend their life plan or their job opportunities, we're absolutely going to champion that. And so we speak a lot about self-care in our courses, how to use it. We actually go through some protocols that we've created for post-massage just to keep therapists feeling their best in between. But it's also something that we can talk to clients about with client care. And again, it's just protocols that we can create, whether it's pre-massage, whether it's during massage, or it's after. Again, just creating solutions around how to use this product to get the most out of it. Couple of best practices that we usually talk about that I just wanted to quickly address is when using percussive therapy for the first time, to create the best first experience. One, I always say use it on yourself first. I can't tell you how many times I've been at just like an event or a show where our products are out, and it's always a couple that comes up. And I don't know why guys do this, but it's always a man who grabs it and then like attacks his wife with it. Like, let me try this, honey. And I'm like, do you guys not know how women work, or what's going on here? But all that to say, we have found that there's a couple ways that you can experience it that really create the best experience at the beginning. So turn it on before you use it. That's just kind of a quick, hopefully that seemed like common sense. Start floating it. And I usually recommend that you use it on something like your thigh. A, because you can see where you're treating. B, because it's typically a thicker muscle for most of us. It has 4 different muscle heads to it. And it tends to have a lot of more tissue to it. So people can really understand how it feels. Not, sometimes if you get it really close to the traps, if they just put it in the wrong spot, it might just not feel what they thought it would. So floating it on the area and then starting to apply different pressure as you feel comfortable. We always say move with intent, meaning be in control of the product when you're using it. And then explore. It's incredibly safe, to be really honest. We've done a lot of research around this. As of now, we're just saying nothing above the Adam's apple, so nothing on the face or head quite yet. We do have protocols specific for how to treat the neck area in our massage therapist course, but for the consumer, that's where we kind of stick. And then we also say nothing on the genitalia. Felt like you guys needed to know that, so that's just a little side note. But other than that, I think the only other big kind of call out is to say with pregnancy, we just do not recommend using it on the stomach, front to back, but shoulders, legs, glutes, feet, calves, all of that. We've had an amazing response from our pre and postnatal community, as well as practitioners within that community. So we're getting some great response there. And then combined tools. So we're saying that we're an amazing complement. We're really helping a lot of people, but by no means is percussive therapy the answer to everything. It's an incredible tool to have, and when used correctly, it can create massive shifts for a lot of people. But we do always recommend that you're obviously breathing through it, that you stretch the areas that you're using it in, and you can combine it with a lot of different tools on the market. I'm going to skip forward to our university overview. The rest I kind of covered throughout the presentation. So the last thing I want to land on is our desire to just really be an honest, reputable source of education. And with that, we recently launched Therabody University. Therabody University is our curriculum-based education. You're currently doing our foundations course, a little bit abbreviated just for the time frame for today, but it's a course that anybody who's interested in understanding percussive therapy a little bit more can take. Easy to sign up, and it's digital, so you can get a lot of people through that. We also have 200 and 300 series courses. So in our 200 series courses, we have our personal trainer course, which is called our performance specialist course. And then we have our licensed massage therapist course. And we have that in 2 different versions. We have it in a digital version, which you can purchase and take. It's self-guided. You control kind of the pace of it. And then we also have a live in-person, it's not in person right now, it's done virtually via Zoom. And it's a workshop where you get to kind of ask questions. We go through practical application. For massage therapy, we really break down how to utilize it specific to each body part, then also specific to styles of massage, whether it's sport, therapeutic, deep tissue, whatever that, I'm losing my thought of deep tissue, and what's the other one? Come on. It's the other massage. You guys know it. I don't know why my brain's
massage.
Say that again.
Are you going to say sports massage?
Yeah. What's the other? What's the light massage?
Swedish.
Swedish. Thank you. I don't know. So our courses really actually link up to that, and we really go through everything that's involved. I think what the most exciting thing for us as a company, we fought really hard for this, is that it does provide you with continuing education credits, which every professional, whether it be a personal trainer, massage therapist, or a practitioner, has to get yearly. And so we wanted to make sure that if you're going through our course, we're also providing you not just with amazing ways to use it within your practice, ways to address certain issues within your specific practice, but we also wanted to create something that helped you as a professional, give you those continuing education credits. So I think we have 2.5, I believe, is the credit limit for NCBTMB. I barely can get that acronym out every time.
Lissa, it's actually they get 4 CU credits for the course.
Oh, amazing. Even better.
Yeah.
Even better.
It's a 4-hour course, so.
Yeah. And what's cool about the university too is that, you know, we've designed these courses, but we're going to continue to grow them. So as we get more and more research in, we're starting to define smaller pockets of specific use cases where we're just really exploring how percussive therapy aids in that actual modality. So we're excited for that launch. It just launched back in August, actually, so we're only about 30 days into it. And then we also have a social media page that kind of supports the university and really talks less about our products and more about how to use and different cases we've seen and success stories that we've been privileged to be part of. I think that is kind of, we did want to give you a quick example of this is kind of one of the protocols we created within our LMT course. So it's things like this that you'll be able to see within the course. And not only do we give you the protocol, but then we walk you through it and then actually watch you apply this protocol to different people and give you feedback. So it's really interactive. We've gotten some great feedback on just being able to be part of the community and help different therapists navigate percussive therapy. I think that we end that kind of with our mission, which is education that connects and inspires. Again, we just really want to continue to figure out how we can use this product better and better and better. Beyond percussive therapy, I put a few quick slides in here. We do have TheraOne. Clint, I'll let you jump in. Do you want me to go over this, or should we pause for questions at this point?
Yeah, let's see if we have any questions.
Yeah.
John has a question.
John, what you got?
Was that person using 2 guns at once? Looks like fun.
John, let me tell you, that's the best time of your life. Yeah. Actually, Dr. Jason created a routine where we use both 2 devices at once. And the routine really aligns the central nervous system. So it goes up and down the spine. It goes to the peripheral area of your legs, to the bottom of your feet, then back up. And it's just kind of an amazing, it's like an under 2-minute treatment that fully refreshes the body, gets people kind of understanding what percussive therapy is, and leaves them with a massive buzz. We've put part of that protocol in the massage therapy course. So we do teach when to use it and how to use it if a massage therapist does have 2 devices available. And then we have a trademark kind of session called our reset. And it's a 15-minute percussive therapy session that we have in our retail stores that is using 2 devices, but it's not a massage in that we never touch the client. So we're able to navigate a little differently with 2 products on the body at the same time. But John, really, it's just a big razzle dazzle. You should experience it. It's so good.
It looks
Cool.
like
And then,
I'm curious about, you know, multiple guns. That sounds great. Multiple guns, John. The Wild West out here. So if you purchase multiple devices, you know, Theraguns, is there included technician training with that purchase?
so yeah, I mean, John, we can talk about that. What we've been doing right now is, obviously, since we can't meet your team in person, is we've been doing these virtually just like this through webinars. And it's gone very, very well with massage therapists. We've trained close to 1,000 therapists since April doing this. We got approved by NCB-TMB to host these virtually, and we're running weekly classes with our massage therapist instructors. So yeah, I mean, I think it's a conversation we can have, and obviously it's important to us that they get trained and they need to know how to use the devices. So we can talk about that, or kind of what level you're looking at getting training the therapist. We do have a digital asset. It's self-guided. It's the same course, but just in a digital format. And therapists can take it. It's an hour to an hour and a half, depending on how fast they go through it. And it's gated, so they have to complete each module to continue on to the next one. But yeah, we can talk about that, including the training. I think if there's no more questions on Theragun products, if you just quickly want to touch on TheraOne, Lissa, and then that'll leave us a little bit more time for more questions.
Yeah, so one of the things that Dr. Jason kept getting into his scope was CBD. Obviously, it's a massive part of the industry right now. And true to Dr. Jason, he really felt like if he was going to stamp his name on it, he really had to understand it and had to fit our kind of what we were trying to accomplish with percussive therapy. And so after doing a lot of research on our own, we realized there wasn't a product that really lived up to our standards. So we created our own. Why not? We decided to invest in a farm in Colorado. We felt like obviously USA grown farm was the best for us. And we wanted specific things to be present, especially things like being certified organic CBD. We got some testing on the farm. We got some of the first USDA approvals on the products coming out of our farm. We created our own strand as well. And all that really translates to is we know exactly what doses of CBD are in our product and how perfectly they're dosed throughout. So every time you go to pump or you go to spray or you go to squeeze something out, we can predict exactly how much CBD is being used, which really allows us to get, it gives us the ability to actually be tested in facilities that will eventually give us the ability to be treating everything all the way up to our fingers are crossed for Olympic athletes. But what we found is that our CBD is really pure in nature, and it allows us to be in multiple different arenas. We do have an extensive product line. I think one thing that's been really successful in this space is our massage oil, and just finding that not just the oil itself in terms of the CBD and CBD quality, but the oil that's produced has, it just feels a lot better for a treater on the skin. It gives your thumbs the ability to kind of grab a hold by still having some slickness to it. And I think that's something that, again, a company that is a treater first, a consumer second, really understood that, what people might need. So we do have this kind of product line. I'll leave it up here for a second. I don't know that we need to go through each one of them, but I will highlight that something that we've seen a lot of success with is our sleep tincture. We've gotten some insane success stories around people's ability to get off things like Ambien and start taking the sleep medication or tincture without having any kind of lag or delay. But we wanted to be organic, we wanted to be pure, and we wanted to be testable so that we could actually get some quality control on our product. And so that's what you can really find from our TheraOne products, is just this USDA stamp of approval, and then all the ingredients that go in it have an approval process as well. Aside from CBD, we also have an app. I do want to just point this out. I think there's a lot of buzz about Bluetooth connectivity with products right now. The one thing that makes us much different than any other Bluetooth activated product is that, first of all, we took Dr. Jason's brain and just dumped it in the app. So we have 3 categories you can move through. We have ailments. So it's our specific protocol on how to treat an ailment. Like think carpal tunnel, bursitis, IT band syndrome, those kind of things. And then we also have body part specific. So just those simple questions like, how do I recover my quad? easy. It's on the app. And then finally, we have activity-based ones. Like I just went for a run. I just went for a swim. I just did a boxing class. And we put together protocols, recovery protocols for those as well. We then added some popular ones like wellness routines, sleep routines, and all of those are in the device. So when you link our Bluetooth to the app, what you'll find is the app can turn on your device. Not only that, it will speak to the device and oscillate when you need to change or go to a new part of your body. And then finally, the app itself tells you just how much force you should apply to achieve the outcome you want, what attachment you can use, and how to hold it. It literally just walks you through everything you'd ever need to know. So instead of giving you the protocol, we went a lot further or deeper into it and gave you the accessory that you use and the amount of force you should be putting in your body. And then the machine itself will regulate based on what you've chosen in the app. So they're quite interactive. As a personal trainer, I've prescribe different things of the app to my clients. Hey, tonight you need to do the wellness routine. Hey, tonight you should do this. Hey, when you get home, do this. And it allows me to keep my connection with the clients post our session and really continue to drive into their success. And so I really love the app as one of our features. My mom goes crazy over it because she's like, it's big enough I can see it. And I'm like, awesome, Mom. So there's some really cool features to the app. If nothing else, you guys log on and take a look at it. You don't have a device to have to go through it. Yeah. And it really just shows you a lot more about what we can do with this device. I think it's a real miss if this device is only used as a recovery tool. There's so much cool stuff you can be doing with it, whether it's helping you energize because you had to sit through a lecture of some random girl talking to you for an hour, or you're having a hard time falling asleep at night. Or you have a serious knot or issue in your body and you need to address it. We just really have the ability to do all of those. Finally, just really quick, we did launch our wave roller, which is another accessory, and we've put combined uses of our products and our percussive therapy devices all together. We really are creating a huge package for our consumers, whether you're using one of our devices on its own, whether that's TheraOne, Wave Roller, or Theragun, or you're using all three of them collectively. They all kind of synergistically work. Here's our product offering, and I believe this is the last slide.
Awesome. Does anybody have any questions that we didn't answer?
I might.
Yay. Hey, John.
Go for it.
Hey, I believe I saw somewhere that there is a security setup so that if they are used in, let's say, a gym setting where they wouldn't be able to be walked off with. Is that right?
Yeah, each Theragun comes with its own bouncer. No, I'm kidding. So it's on the roadmap. Each device is Bluetooth enabled, so it's built in already that they're capable of doing this. It's on our roadmap. Hopefully this year, what we're doing is it's our range tech anti-theft technology. And you're right, you've seen this before. We've discussed this. We've had this conversation. Basically, what that would do is it works as geofencing for the device itself. So if it's in the gym on one of our gym racks, basically we can assign that to being its home base. And if someone is taking the device outside of the sort of parameters that we've set, then it will notify them on the screen to please return this back to the charging stand or the tower that it was on. And then you would also be notified that someone is taking the device, and you would then have the ability to deactivate it remotely. So it becomes just a giant paperweight for the person that took it. Not available yet. It again, with all of our G4 devices, the Pro and the Elite, it's built in already for the anticipation of that happening later this year. Cool. And then I would add one thing about the app that Lissa talked about was for the protocols. You can actually, if we put a protocol on your spa menu as an enhancement or an add-on, what we can do is we can store that in the Theragun. So the therapist would scroll to to that protocol. And then, you know, as we know, it's important for that consistency to have the same treatment in all of, or the consistency across all your services. So being able to do that and store the protocol with them, or an iPad to connect the devices, it'll be stored in there for, you know, use anytime that they get booked with the service. So I know we're about out of time. I will say, is there anything, Holly, that you wanted to add, or?
Yeah, well, first of all, I just downloaded the app. I've had my Theragun for a little while now, and I finally did it. I'm so glad I did. I'm onto my health part right now, which I will pause on that because that might take me a while. And get it all set up so I can have it on my Apple Watch and on my phone and, you know, everywhere. So I'm super excited about it. But yeah, you know, this was really great. You know, like I said, before we hit record, Lissa and I realized that she worked on me at a trade show last November. And that was my first experience with percussive therapy. And I have to tell you, first of all, I love it. Second of all, I mean, it really is beneficial for every body, which I love too. And I think that that's really important to note. My daughter, she's 11, she's a figure skater, and she literally uses it on a nightly basis. She's like, plugs it in, she knows her speed. She like, I mean, now I'm gonna have to get her the, you know, app too, so she can do a program. And that'll make it even better. But she sits there and she's like, oh, this is so great, you know, and it just really helps in all those aches and pains from skating like crazy. And it doesn't help that I push her with like 8-mile hikes on top of that. So anyways, I digress rather quickly. Let me share with you some really cool stuff that we have coming up. And you know, this upcoming month is, September. We have so many really wonderful events. As you know, may or may not already, every Tuesday we host at 5 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. We host these great events with our vendor partners, and we always learn something new, which is really fun. But we also have Wellness Wednesdays, and this entire month we have 4. We already had one last week. We have another one next week. And I will tell you what I'm super excited about is Theragun is going to join us. Therabody is going to join us again at the end of the month. They're going to close out this month with a bang. We will have a mindful stretch on the 30th of this month at 5 o'clock p.m. You do not want to miss it. Make sure that you register now if you haven't already, because anyone that is registered for this event, and including today, if you are a buyer, you're going to receive a Theragun, so that you can have your own Theragun to use during this mindful stretch at 5 p.m. Mountain Time on the 30th of September. Be there or you will absolutely be completely square. You don't want to miss it. And for any of our other vendor partners, I know there's a few of you on here, Theragun has generously offered a discount code for you to purchase your own Theragun device, whichever one you choose. So they'll connect with you offline as well, and be sure to send you that code. So if you want to purchase your own, you can do that at a discount. If there are no other questions, man, what a day. Lissa, that was awesome. I mean, you are so smart. Like, I'm like, you kept me entertained, and you know, I can just back easy. I loved it. No, the amount of knowledge that you had and shared with us today was truly awesome. My key takeaway is I really loved and the story. I always love a story, clearly, because I love to talk. Most of you that know me know that. But I only love to talk because I love to engage and hear a story. And I think having a real purpose and a real reason for why you do what you do and where this came from was really awesome to hear that. And I also love the fact that you guys get to write the description and have written the description on what exactly percussive therapy is. I totally learned that today too. So among other things. Yeah, I love it. Thank you guys so much. I will see all of you. Okay, Theragun people, you're invited. Please be there. Next Tuesday, 5 p.m. We actually have emergency. We're doing facials. Join us. All right. Awesome. Have a great night, everyone. Stay